Hello and welcome to MIDAS Tutorials. This tutorial covers the various invoicing capabilities available within MIDAS. Before we begin, we first need to ensure that we've set up our rates for our venues and resources. Our venue rates can be managed via MIDAS admin options and selecting Manage Venues. Our rates are defined on the Rate tab. So first we select a venue, we're going to use Room 2 in this tutorial, and then we specify either our hourly or daily rate on each day of the week for this room. I'm going to set this to $100 an hour. For every day of the week. And when I've done, I click Save Changes. Now, if you give discounts to certain clients, if they're non-profit clients and you want to give them a discount, you can do that, and you do that through the use of booking types. So here we've set up our standard rates of $100 an hour. If we now go into Manage Booking Types, and we'll define a new booking type called non-profit, and assign a 50% discount to this booking type. We'll also change the colour of this type so we can see it more easily in the grid, and we click Save Changes. So now any bookings that we assign to be this non-profit type will automatically get a 50% discount. Finally, if we have any resources within MIDAS that we want to charge an invoice for, these can be defined via Manage Resources, and we can edit our resources to include a charge where necessary. Once we've set up all our rates for our venues and resources and our discount levels, we're ready to start generating invoices. MIDAS can generate invoices in a number of ways. The first way I'll show you is to automatically create an invoice at time of booking. So we're going to go to the Add Booking screen, and we're going to make a booking in Room 2, and we'll make it from 9 AM till 10 AM, so we're making it for 1 hour. We assign the client that the booking is for, and we click Check Availability and Book. On the Booking Availability screen, you'll see this box that says Create Invoice. If we select that, then when we press Book All Available, the booking will be added and an invoice will be created. So there's our 1 hour booking. If we hover over it, the invoice number is shown in the Booking Information panel. To view our invoices at any time, we click the invoicing icon in the toolbar. We can either enter an invoice reference directly here to jump to that invoice, or we can filter a display of invoices here. And here we see our invoice, the status of which is shown here. To the right there are a number of icons that relate to this invoice. Firstly, we can modify the invoice, we can print the invoice, we can email the invoice directly to the client, or we can delete the invoice. If we just click the invoice itself, we will view the invoice, and you can see Room 2 for 1 hour at $100 an hour, and the total is $100. We've currently set up a 20% tax rate as well, and I'll show you a little later how you control that and change that to meet your particular needs. Again, we have a number of action icons available here in the top right. We can click this icon to modify our invoice, so we could add additional items to it. And our invoice updates accordingly. Once we've finished making our changes, we click Save Invoice. And we're taken to our modified invoice. Now you can modify invoices in this way any time up until they are printed or emailed. Once you've printed or emailed an invoice, MIDAS assumes that invoice is then finalised and no further editing is possible. Also, you'll notice this invoice says Invoice Not Sent. There is no invoice date associated with this invoice yet. Once we email or print it, the invoice date becomes the current date. So I'm going to click Email and email this invoice to the client. Additionally, I can enter my own message here, which will be included along with the email. And then I click Send. and we get confirmation that our invoice has been sent. And you'll see the invoice date has updated accordingly. So whilst we can no longer change the details of this invoice because it's now been sent to the client, we can still update its paid status. So we click the update status icon, and we now have a paid field. So when the client pays their invoice or partly pays their invoice, we can keep a record of it here. So we're going to assume the client has paid this already. That's efficiency for you. So we'll make this that they have paid $180 and update status. And you'll see our status has now changed to paid in full. So that's the first way to create invoices at the time of booking. You can also automatically generate invoices at any time for your bookings. If we go back to the booking grid, and I've already got another booking lined up on the 11th here. So this is a 4-hour booking in room 2. If I click this booking, I can select Generate Invoice. After confirmation, MIDAS will generate an invoice for that booking for me. To view that invoice, again I go into the invoicing screen. And there's our invoice. If we wish to generate an invoice for more than one booking, we can use the Generate Invoice icon. This will allow us to select a client or all clients and a date range, and MIDAS will then generate a single invoice for that client containing all their bookings over that date period. And MIDAS generates the associated invoices. And there's our new invoice there. And you can see that includes bookings over a number of days. You can also manually create invoices in MIDAS if you click the Create Invoice icon. This shows you a blank invoice form. You can select the client that the invoice is for and begin adding your items. And when you finish that, you click Save Invoice. And our invoice is added to the system. Now, I mentioned a little earlier some of the administrative settings that there are available for invoicing, such as setting the tax rate. You can access the invoice settings if you go to MIDAS Admin Options, Manage MIDAS, and click the Invoicing tab. Here we can set up our currency, our tax rate, and a number of other options. Also, if you have a PayPal or Google Wallet account, you can allow your clients to pay their invoices in a quick, convenient, and safe manner online if you enable these options. Finally, to customize the look of your invoices, you can click the Templates tab and select Invoice. Here you can customize the text and add images and logos to your invoices. And that concludes this tutorial. Thank you for watching, and be sure to check out our other tutorials at MID.AS/tutorials.